It all started on Saturday morning. The most dangerous time of the week, when your parents have a tech problem. My mom comes into the kitchen while I'm just trying to make coffee, holding her phone out like it's a biohazard. It's just so slow, she says. I try to open my Facebook and it takes a minute. Can you just fix it? You're so good with this. My first mistake. Hubris. I take the phone, a Samsung Galaxy S something from like 2017, and I'm like, easy. I'm the family tech support. I'm the one who sets up the Wi-Fi. This is my job. So I go sit on the couch, start diving in. And she's right, this thing is clogged. She has 40,000 unread emails. She has 12 different weather apps. And the storage is completely full. So I start the purge. I clear the cache. I uninstall apps she hasn't opened in 3 years. I go to the photo gallery to clear out the 500 blurry photos of the dog's ear. Standard stuff. But it barely makes a dent. The system is still taking up a ton of space. So I go one level deeper. I open the My Files app. The dreaded file manager. And that's when I see it. It's not in the main camera folder. It's in the root directory. A folder. A giant 50 gigabyte folder. The name, family_vacations. Now, in my defense, this is stupid file management. Why isn't this in the pictures folder? Why isn't it on an SD card? My tech brain immediately thinks, oh, this is a bad backup. Like, my dad must have tried to drag and drop this from the old desktop years ago. It failed, and it's just sitting here, a corrupted file taking up space. All the real photos, I assume, are safe and sound on the cloud. Or on the computer. Or anywhere else. So I hold down the folder icon. The little trash can appears. I tap it. Are you sure you want to permanently delete family_vacations? And I, a fool, a hubristic, arrogant fool, tap yes. I watch the little progress bar fill up and, poof, gone. 50 gigs free. The phone instantly feels faster. I feel like a hero. I walk back into the kitchen, hand her the phone. All set, Mom. Cleared out a ton of junk. Runs like new. She's thrilled. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Then, I make my second, fatal mistake. I ask the question. I ask it casually, not even thinking about it. Hey, just curious. You guys back up all those old vacation photos to the cloud, right? She just stares at me. Her smile just freezes and then melts off her face. What? What photos? You know, there was a huge folder of old vacation stuff. I just deleted it to make space. Figured you had it backed up. She doesn't say anything. She just yells, Frank. My dad comes in from the garage. What? I'm busy. My mom looks at him, and her voice is trembling. He deleted the photos. My dad says, what photos? The photos. The family_vacations folder. My dad's face goes white. He looks at me. Which folder? And I knew. I knew right then. That wasn't a bad backup. That was the backup. That was the only backup. My dad, it turns out, doesn't trust the cloud, and after our last desktop died in 2018, he had temporarily moved the only surviving copy of our entire family history onto my mom's phone for safekeeping. My first trip to Disney. My sister's. It all started back when the live, laugh, love era ended and the aggressively positive yard sign era began. And I mean aggressively. For 6 months, I had to look at this monolith of cringe every single day. My neighbor, let's call her Brenda, decided that our quiet, suburban cul-de-sac needed a daily dose of high-intensity, low-effort inspiration. She planted the sign right on the property line. It wasn't just text, it was a retina-searing neon orange with block letters that proclaimed, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Honestly, the only setback was the hit to my property's aesthetic value. Every morning, I'd be drinking my coffee, trying to enjoy the sunrise, and there it was, mocking me. I tried being subtle. I suggested to Brenda that the color clashed with her azaleas. I even left a flyer for a local landscape architect known for minimalist design near her mailbox. Nothing worked. The sign stood firm, a beacon of unsolicited, terrible advice. The decision was made last Tuesday. I came home after a particularly brutal day at work, a day where my setback felt more like a full-on collapse, and that sign just felt like a personal insult. It was a moment of pure, petty adrenaline. I decided to introduce it to gravity. Gently, of course. My plan was simple. Get out of the car, walk by, and give the flimsy plastic stand a slight, accidental-looking tap with my sneaker. The wind would finish the job. A classic, victimless crime of mild sabotage. But here's where the unintended consequences spiral started. I put my plan into action around 8 p.m. It was dark, I was wearing my dark hoodie. I basically felt like a secret agent of neighborhood justice. I approached the sign, took a deep breath, and executed the accidental foot tap. The moment my shoe connected, the ground beneath the sign didn't yield. Instead, the whole area turned into a scene from an action movie. This wasn't just a garden gnome, this was a smart yard sign. It must have had an internal Motion sensor, because two huge, high-powered floodlights on Brenda's roof instantly snapped on, bathing my face in what felt like the light of 1,000 suns. Simultaneously, a siren, not a wah-wah burglar siren, but one of those sharp, ear-splitting, air raid sirens, began to wail. I froze. I'm standing there, blinded by the light, with this sound tearing through the quiet neighborhood. I could hear dogs barking from 3 streets over. I didn't even knock the sign over. It was just slightly tilted, like it was leaning to hear the chaos better. I ran. Not a dignified retreat. I did a full-on, panic-fueled sprint back into my house, slamming the door and dropping to the floor. I watched through the blinds as 2 police cruisers pulled up, followed by the HOA president, Carol, in her golf cart. Yes, the HOA president has a golf cart, which is a whole other layer of drama in this neighborhood. The next morning, the HOA letter arrived. It was in one of those stiff, linen-blend envelopes, you know, the ones that scream you're about to be financially punished. Inside, I found 2 violations: disturbing the peace due to the excessive noise, and lawn vandalism because of the slight tilt to the yard sign. The combined fine? A cool $150. I couldn't believe it. I went from performing a public service to being branded a petty criminal. And the worst part? Brenda, the owner of the eyesore sign, was completely unbothered. She apparently told the HOA that the security system was unnecessary precaution against the forces of negativity. She actually said that. I tried to appeal the fine. I sent a strongly worded email to Carol, explaining the aesthetic and psychological damage the sign was causing, arguing that my actions were in self-defense against visual pollution. Carol's response was a single-line email attaching the original picture of the tilted sign. Violation stands. Pay within 7 days. The true irony is that now I'm out $150, but every time I look at that slightly tilted sign, I feel a pang of weird satisfaction. I tried to make my neighbor's terrible, motivational yard sign fall over as a joke, but I accidentally triggered their whole security system, and now the HOA is fining me for disturbing the peace and lawn vandalism. And honestly, I regret nothing. That sign was an eyesore, and for a few glorious minutes, it was drowned out by the sound of pure, unadulterated failure, my failure, sure, but also the failure of Brenda's over-the-top security strategy. This whole situation has taught me a few things about petty revenge and unintended consequences. 1. Always scout your target. Assume every piece of lawn decor past 2020 is Bluetooth-enabled and connected to a drone strike command center. 2. HA is the ultimate villain. They don't care about your noble intentions. They only care about their bylaws and collecting fines. 3. Sometimes, the cost is the punchline. The $150 fine is now just part of the story. I paid it. I got my petty revenge. The sign was tilted for a solid day before Brenda fixed it, and I got a story out of it. So, am I the a-hole? Maybe. Was it worth the financial setback? Absolutely. I'm thinking about starting a petition to make the sign a protected landmark of suburban absurdity. Or maybe I'll just wait for the next windy day and hope the consequences are less financially punitive. Drop a comment with your platform of choice. Thumbs up like if you learned something new, repeat button share this post with friends, and bell subscribe for more social media comments.